Hi guys,
Hello people,
I'm
I'm
Milena,
Lola.
and we're watching the last episode of Band of Brothers.
Look, I know we watched it for like a bit more than 2 months, right? God, it feels like ages.
Honestly.
It feels...
And coming to the last episode,
Oh my god.
getting to the last episode feels like such a long time.
Yeah, it felt...
It took years of our lives, I presume.
I think you saw. Look, I think you saw. I think like after the last episode, everything else kind of feels not ridiculous, but like that was so... I don't know what word I want to use. Like really, I don't think any word is enough. Like I want to say draining, but like I just, it was so emotionally taxing for me that like I don't even believe that anything was close to it.
It wasn't.
Even though like so many things were worse than anything other.
No,
like were much
like,
harder than the other
yeah.
show. But like last episode, just like we have been, when we were hanging out with people this week, I think like with everyone, like we were hanging out with her friends, with my friends, with everyone, we were just like mentioning this
and
episode.
my brother was like, oh, you watched Band of Brothers, like should I watch it or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell him. Like, sure. I would not recommend.
I told him, for you, it's gonna be great. Like, I think you're gonna really enjoy the show because, like, the show on every front, like cinematography, writing,
everything.
acting, the way that they tell a story is a 10 out of 10.
Like, it's out of fault. It doesn't have any fault.
No faults. Like it is one of the one of the highest rated shows, and it deserves to be.
It should be.
Like
yeah.
it really deserves to be. It is such a good quality show. Like if you and he likes those shows, I think he would really like it.
Yeah.
But if you're a type of person like we are, who want to connect to the storyline, and then when you connect to it, you become emotionally like involved in it. Even if we were not getting emotionally involved, I don't know how you like watch this and not like get fully broken
That's
down.
what I want to say.
I just think it's so exhausting.
Yeah, to me, this was different than
like
any
my
other
sister.
show.
Imagine me recommend this to my sister. She would kill me.
She would never.
She
I
would,
think
no,
she would
after the
move
first
out.
episode, she would be like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
She would not even get...
She would watch the first scene when the guys are talking.
Yeah, she would be out
and
of
she
there.
would be like, oh, this happened. Bum.
Yeah, no. Like, this is from World War II. Goodbye. Goodbye. She would not be here for a second.
Yeah,
you know?
literally.
Like, but like for her
So
brother...
I just think it just depends on a person.
Yeah.
It was probably one of the hardest shows for me, the most exhausting one.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like I have never in other shows have felt emotionally connected to something. That's not the case.
Yeah.
Like I have been more emotionally connected with other shows or stories that like writers told us, you know. But like this is just so much different, just because it's real life, and I see it as the real life. I see it like as if I'm watching World War, literally.
Yeah.
And that's why it was exhausting.
I mean, I feel like, again, all our intros are the same.
Yeah.
It was exhausting.
Yeah.
It was brilliant.
Yeah.
I am happy I watched it in the terms of, like, I like that I have gotten to experience this, but also, like, I will never rewatch it.
Yeah.
I will never rewatch it.
Yeah.
But I will, if anyone ever asks me, I will always praise it. Yeah. And depending on that person, I'm gonna say to
but
them,
I will,
either watch or don't
that's
watch.
That's what I want to say.
I'm gonna like judge
I will
accordingly.
give them a warning.
Absolutely.
A fair warning.
Depends on what you like, depends on how much you can handle as a person. And like I think this is my limit.
Yeah.
Above my limit, honestly. Like
honestly,
I was shaking.
I can say that like in each episode, almost in every episode, I regretted starting this show, and I was like, if I knew, I would have never played it, and that's the case. That's the truth. If I knew, I would have never played it. But now when we finished it, not yet, but like after this episode, if I survived 9, I'm gonna survive this one very easily,
Yeah.
But like after watching it, seeing it, like I'm happy that I watched it.
Yeah, me too.
It was amazing. It was great. Like
It
I
was
have nothing bad to
incredible.
say about this show. It was perfect.
And I know
honestly.
that after this, there is like
Documentary.
I think so. Like it's I see it on HBO when we type it out. It's like We Stand Alone Together, something like that. Whatever. Is it like how it was made and like how they, let's say, the actors interacted with their counterparts or whatever?
Yeah.
Is
I
it
think
like
it's
that?
maybe.
I mean, I think we're gonna watch it in our own time.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's something that we really like
Definitely.
seeing how it was created. I think
Yeah.
that would be really.
That'd be
nice if it's about that, right? I mean, I would assume it's something
Yeah.
like, or maybe just like, or the Venturines are talking about their own, like how they went through the things that we have watched. How they
Maybe.
Which is like still, let's say, easier to listen. Like I'm gonna cry, but like it's easier to listen to it than like to see it necessarily. You know, I think that would be actually really nice to watch. Don't tell me what it is.
But we'll definitely watch it.
Yeah. This is the last episode. It's called Point, which is not last episode worthy. Like point. End point.
Honestly.
End of war.
Or like We Stand
Together Alone is a documentary.
Yeah, but like
Why We
Fight would be the last episode name,
title,
in my opinion.
Yeah.
But doesn't matter.
Literally doesn't matter.
Who cares?
I don't know why it started, but I just thought it was funny when we said point. Like, okay. Yes, this is the last episode. I mean, I expect like calm. You know, the war is nearly over. I mean, Hitler committed suicide and everything. I think the official date of the end of the war was September 2nd, and we're in April. I mean, Hitler's committed suicide in April. I mean, there are a lot of things like politically and everything to kind of do and
cover.
Yes, but like, you know, the war part is
over.
I think for them it's mostly
I think so as well.
And
I think now maybe we're gonna see them realizing, I mean, finally knowing that they have survived this. I mean, survived.
Yeah, and like knowing that you're going back to, let's say, your life, even though you will never be the same. Like after everything you experience, and like I think people finding like that new normal, that new way to deal with things, and like even their lives are forever changed by it. Like you will never everything that you like the amount of PTSD that those soldiers are gonna experience, and even in that time when, again, like I said, I don't think even in these days, this day and age, like if you're dealing with PTSD, it's very hard to get like the right treatment. I think it's even worse in 1945. You know, I think it's even harder, and I think that not a lot is being done for that. Like I think there are a lot of suicides today, even by people who are like soldiers and everything. I don't think those things get addressed. And so I just think it's like their battle begins now as well. Like they're exiting one battle but entering a whole other, and like that one battle is for a lifetime, you know.
And I think many of them do not even realize at this point how hard it's gonna be to go back to reality and to their lives, and they have been gone for a long time, but like it's not that long in a life. You know, 2 years are nothing, but for them, for what they survive, it's been like so long, you know.
Yeah, you know, there's always that one haunting photo. I saw it many times over the years, but like from World War I, I think, like with that one soldier, like before and after, like it, you know, it looks like he aged 50 years, like just like the sheer, you can see it in his eyes even.
Yeah.
Like
it's like on the picture you can see that like it's like he's seeing dead people in front of him right now.
Yeah, it's really incredible, and I think like it's such a perfect picture to represent how you exit a war and how wars are forever just the worst thing imaginable. Like there's really nothing else to it. And so this is the end episode. I am really looking forward to it.
Me too.
I don't know what it's gonna be, but like it's gonna be calmer. It's just gonna be about everything that they have gone through and experienced, and like how we continue moving
and how they move forward.
Yeah. So that's it. I'm very excited.
Let's watch.
I'm very excited. I just think it's gonna be a great piece of television. That's why I say I'm excited. I think it's just gonna be really great.
No, I mean, people warned us. I know that many other people don't like when people warn us about something, but people
this you can honestly for this like
for this I'm fine. I'm grateful because if I expected another episode 9, I don't know if I would play it. And how
I don't think anyone was complaining about people saying after like our reaction to episode 9. I feel like girls, like it's gonna be fine.
Yeah, 10 episode, the last episode.
Like it's not gonna be like it's gonna be
it's
fine.
Not gonna be,
I don't think anyone's gonna be like, look, don't warn them because like this is too much. You know, this is too much for anyone.
Yeah.
You know, everything else, sure.
Yeah.
This everyone warned us. Okay, so let's watch.
Yeah. So that's why I'm
happy,
calmer,
excited. Yeah, normal. I can smile.
Yeah.
Although we were smiling before episode 9. I was editing that, people. Nothing has ever been edited faster in my fucking life. I didn't watch a screen for a bit. I was just watching our faces. God knows where I cut. Didn't want to see that. Anyways.
Last time in my life watching this.
This intro will never be seen again, I promise you that.
I mean, I will edit this episode, but...
Okay, I will not. So, for me, last time. I don't know why malarkey is like so near and dear to my heart.
I mean, to me
I
as
don't
well.
I don't know why. I just like really feel a lot of love for him.
I mean, I always liked him, but after the last
when he like lost friends and
that was
everything, and him as well.
him as well.
God.
Yeah,
I mean, all of them. But I just like I always feel especially connected to the characters that take care of the other one and are very emotional about that. Those always get me. Austria. Hitler was from Austria, right? Actually.
Yeah.
More than 3 years since Louis Nixon and I decided to join the paratroops, and more than a year since we'd first gone to war. Not knowing what would happen to us, how long we'd be fighting, where we'd end up.
I thought it might be you.
Come and join me for a morning swim?
Here, this was Zelensky.
Ran into the regimental photographer. Said he had all these photographs of the 506.
What do you think you'll do after this?
You get some breakfast?
No, after.
Well, it's funny you should mention it, because I had a meeting with Colonel Sink. Yeah, discussed the possibility of staying.
In the army?
Yeah, it's a career. Said I'd think about it.
What do you think about New Jersey? There's a company in Nixon, New Jersey. It's called Nixon Nitration Unit.
Sounds picturesque.
Yeah, well, oddly enough, I know the owners. Probably gonna expect me to make something of myself. I thought maybe I'd drag you with me.
Are you offering me a job?
We'll see how you do in your interview, but only your qualifications, I think probably scrape something up commensurate with your current salary level.
I love them.
I really appreciate it.
Yes, think about it.
I wonder would it be easier or harder to like see someone you were in war with all the time. I was just thinking about that when he mentioned, like, I really don't know. Like, you have someone that you've gone through with these things, you know, but like someone that's always like a constant reminder.
But you share maybe those
I know,
things.
maybe you can
I
like
think
you
it's
talk
very hard.
easier with him.
Yeah, I think it's really hard to go back to, and nobody can understand what you went through.
I was still getting used to hot showers and morning swims.
God, that's so sad.
I know, like this is ridiculous now.
We'd entered Bavaria in early May with the hopes of capturing Berchtesgaden. This famous town high in the Alps was the Nazi Party's symbolic home. The first step was blocking the roads.
Well, if you're the SS, you're not gonna let us waltz into Hitler's house?
If you're looking for someone to find another way up that mountain, Easy Company is ready and willing.
You noted, I already recommended you to Colonel Sink. One Easy Company in the lead, have been unassembled down on the Autobahn.
Yes, sir.
I don't even like that we're here. I really don't want to hear any gunshots anymore.
That's because this is a one town you can't deny being a true Nazi. Well, you have to be to live here.
Need to find someplace we can put the Colonel.
How about right there? No.
I wonder if they're gonna mention Operation Paperclip.
Kitty would love this. How many brides get a wedding present from Hitler?
I mean, imagine sharing that with people who are Nazis. I'm gonna eat with my hands.
I don't even think about it.
Easy, you'll head up the mountain through the Obersalzberg. Take the Eagle's Nest. The Eagle's Nest was a surprise birthday present for Hitler, built with Nazi Party money. A mountaintop stone retreat, 8,000 feet up, accessible by a gold-plated elevator.
Here's to him. No, goddammit, listen. Hitler. No.
From Corps, just came in, effective immediately. All troops stand fast on present positions.
Ready for it? Listen up. German army surrendered. I got a present for you. Come on. 10,000 bottles of the world's finest liquor, wine, and champagne helped Easy Company mark the day the war in Europe came to an end.
Ready for Austria in the morning. Don't feel you have to leave anything here for whoever comes next.
Austria, sir. Happy VE Day. VE Day? Victory in Europe.
Instead of an aggressive combat unit, we became an occupation force. And no one wanted to leave Berchtesgaden until they saw Austria.
I don't think I've ever like looked at nature so much as I do in this show, like just the juxtaposition of everything so beautiful and peaceful, and then you have this horror happening. I've never like been so overwhelmed by it. Which part is this in Austria?
When there are finally no more wars to occupy us. Have all your men collect the weapons, pass them to church, to school, and at the airfield. Please accept this as my formal surrender, Major. You may keep your sidearm, Colonel.
Heroic dead of a combined Army and Marine Force marked the grim battlefield of Okinawa.
So, when are we going? We don't have a date yet. We gonna tell the men right away? Someone will have enough points to go home instead.
Not many. Their only medal's Purple Heart. He's company for a week. Oh, God damn it, Shifty.
Seems they want me to stay around a while.
You serious?
How many points you need? 15. Jesus Christ, I thought I had it bad.
My Purple Hearts never was injured.
So that's what points is about.
General Taylor is aware that many veterans, including Normandy veterans, still do not have the 85 points required to be discharged. On this, the anniversary of D-Day, he has authorized a lottery to send one man home in each company, effective immediately. For Easy Company, the winner is serial number 130-66266, Sergeant Darrell C. Powers. That's how it's done, Shifty.
Congratulations, Shifty.
Sergeant Grant will see to it that 2nd Platoon takes over at the Crossroads checkpoint, beginning tonight at 2200 hours. General Taylor has also announced that the 101st Airborne Division will definitely be redeployed to the Pacific. So, beginning tomorrow at 0600 hours, we will begin training to go to war.
I just wanted to, say goodbye. You know, it's been a long time.
You got everything you need?
Yes, sir. I gathered up my loot. Pistols, mainly. Paperwork's all done. I even got my backpack in my pocket. Back home in Virginia. I just don't rightly know how I'm going to explain all this.
You're a hell of a fine soldier, Shifty. There's nothing more to explain.
Thank you, sir.
2 days later, Shifty Powers was on a truck headed for the rear and a boat home. Unfortunately, the truck was hit head-on by a drunken corporal from another regiment. Shifty had a broken pelvis, a broken arm, and a bad concussion. He survived, but had to spend the next few months in a series of hospitals. I wish I could say that he was our only casualty in Austria.
Made up my mind, Nix.
Why?
I got the points. I'm going back to...
Do you really think the kitty hasn't run off with some 4S swing out?
Son of a bitch.
She's waited for you for 3 years, right? We'll be to Tokyo and back in 2 years, 3 tops.
Probably be over before we even get there.
Got some glory here. Applied for a transfer.
What?
13th Airborne are heading out for the Pacific right away. If I'm going, I want to get it over with.
Are you in on this too?
I can't let him go by himself. He doesn't know where it is.
You leaving the men?
They don't need me anymore.
Wounded in Normandy. So you were given command of the company on D-Day.
That's right.
The whole damn wall.
Yes, sir.
You got through that storm without any fire you went.
That is correct, sir.
And you were on the line the whole time.
Yes, sir.
Can't imagine a tougher test for a leader.
You got through it.
Why do you want to transfer?
Sorry, sir.
I said, why do you want to leave him in?
Well, it's not that, sir. It's just that if the war was still on in the Pacific and I could do some good over there.
Looking to have your own division someday?
No, sir.
I'll go make a career in the Army.
No.
Let me tell you something. You've done enough.
Thank you, sir. It's not my objective.
Major, I took this meeting out of respect for your achievements. And for the 101st. If they do go to the Pacific eventually, you should be running one of the battalions.
Thank you, sir.
And frankly, I think you men have earned the right to keep you around.
So I would stay in Austria for the time being, waiting for orders, and trying to watch over soldiers who had no enemy to fight.
It's in the fucking room, Webb. One of those Polacks who was at the slave camp said this is where the guy lives, right here.
Which camp?
Whatever camp. The direct orders and I'm hanging the phone away.
Personal thing, Joe?
What?
Is this personal to you?
No, it's a goddamn order.
Does Major Winters know about this?
Doesn't matter.
What if this guy's just a soldier? What if he's an officer with no ties to the SS? What if he's innocent?
You know what? What if he's a fucking Nazi commandant of a fucking slave camp?
Which one? Which camp? You don't have any proof.
Will you act this way? You think he's a soldier like you and me? Fucking innocent German officer? Where the hell have you been for the past 3 years?
Yes, easy.
He's guilty. He got says so.
He probably is.
Summer in this alpine paradise should have been a welcome relief, especially now that we were at peace with the Germans.
Sounds good.
Hey, Webster! My relief! Don't salute the Germans! Oh, come on. I sort of get a kick out of it. 75 cents. How about you? I mean, you're a Tacoma guy, right? How many you got? Wouldn't you like to know?
Go ahead, take off. It's my time.
Okay, see you back at farm.
81. I have 81 points.
Isn't that good enough?
Oh, Jesus.
Private gentleman.
He was dead when they brought him in. 75 points.
What?
He was 10 points short.
Young men who wanted to be home with their families by now, who'd served with distinction since before Normandy, were stuck here because they didn't have the points. But they did have plenty of them, for weapons, alcohol, and too much time on their hands.
Wait here.
You okay, Matt? You need some help?
They wouldn't give me any gas. Shouts. This fucking limey wouldn't listen. I think he was a major.
We probably got a problem here.
Do you have any gas?
Why don't you give me a weapon?
Hold on a second now, right?
Gene, he's not gonna make it.
You can't operate on it?
Not me. You need a brain surgeon.
You find a shooter along the line. Come on at me.
What are you doing? Go find a brain surgeon. He wants a non-gun guard at each roadblock, so there's 2 men watching every road out of town.
Where's Grant now?
They took him to a crowd hospital, so they could drum up any of the doctors.
Get in the Jeep.
If you're going to shoot me, shoot me. If you're not, put the gun away.
Get in the Jeep now.
If you want him to live, you'll help me. First, by putting that away.
Somebody's taking a bigger beat than me and him.
We'll play a different game.
Huh. Same good. Shuffle up there.
They caught him. Huh? They caught him.
You alright? Yeah, I'm alright. Gonna go in there and join in?
I should go in there and stop this.
Wait. Where is it?
How's Grant?
Where is it?
You okay? Where is he?
That's him? That's him. Where's the weapon? What? When you talk to an officer, you say sir. Have the MPs take care of this piece of shit.
Grant's dead?
No. Cross surgeon says he's gonna make it.
Ain't South guy on your feet.
What?
Sir, if it's not going to put you in too much of a bind, I'd like to resign as company first sergeant. If I had my choice, I miss being back amongst the men. I'd be happy to go to staff sergeant, whichever platoon you want to put me in.
Well, I guess you've earned your right to demote yourself.
Thanks.
You want to take over Sergeant Grant's platoon?
That would do fine, sir.
All right, then report to Lieutenant Peacock.
Oh, sir, you make your decision yet?
Yeah, I did. I know the company's going to need a commanding officer post-war, somebody to hold their hand, keep them from killing each other. But it's absolutely irresponsible to leave them in the hands of the wrong person. They're too much of a valuable resource for the military.
So you decided to stay in the Army?
Yes, I'm going to stay with the man.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. So some of us would stay by choice. But others were stuck here unless we could find excuses to send them away. Well, it's an airborne exhibition. They have one of every Allied combat plane they've used in the war.
I mean, yes, sir.
You'll be like a technical advisor to make sure they get everything right.
I understand, sir.
Besides, it's not a more hospitable location.
No, sir. Paris is just fine. And if you need me to go, someone has to be there.
Yeah, we do. We absolutely do. And, I don't think we'll see you back here anytime soon.
I won't let you down, sir.
Carl, yes. I wanted to say, as you probably know, the Army, when they give a man a battlefield commission, make him an officer, let him stay with the same company.
Yes, sir. I figured this was coming.
Giving me the choice as to where to reassign you, and I thought battalion headquarters might be a good place.
I think a few better, sir.
Good. Right now, down at the airfield, there is a German general who was a little PO'd about having to surrender to Private Babe Heffron from South Philly. Thinks it's beneath his stature.
Understandable, sir.
I thought Second Lieutenant Carwood Lipton from West Virginia could suit either ruffled feathers.
Major, is this the type of job I can expect from now on?
Yeah. Yeah. When we're not sunning ourselves by the lake.
So you could see the tears better.
With your permission, I would like to address my men briefly.
That'll be fine, General.
Oh.
Captain Sobel?
Major Winters?
Captain Sobel. We salute the rank, not the man.
Männer! Es war ein langer Krieg.
I'd like to hear that. I understand German.
Ihr habt tapfer und stolz für euer Vaterland gekämpft.
You fought bravely, proudly for your country.
Die ineinander einen Zusammenhalt gefunden hat.
And one another a bond.
Wie sich nur im Kampf entwickeln kann.
It exists only in combat.
Unter Kameraden,
Among brothers,
die Fuchshöhlen geteilt haben,
who share foxholes,
die sich in schrecklichen Momenten gegenseitig gestützt haben,
held each other in dire moments,
die den Tod gemeinsam gelitten haben.
We've seen death and suffered together. I'm proud to have served each and every one of you.
Sie alle verdienen ein langes und glückliches Leben in Frieden.
You deserve long and happy lives of peace.
Well, how happy I am.
New Jersey, huh?
Yeah. Think about it.
I am. You awake yet? Buck Compton came back to see the company to let us know that he was all right. He became a prosecutor in Los Angeles. He convicted Sirhan in the murder of Robert Kennedy and was later appointed to the California Court of Appeals. David Webster became a writer for the Saturday Evening Post and Wall Street Journal, and later wrote a book about sharks. In 1961, he went out on the ocean alone and was never seen again. Johnny Martin would return to his job at the railroad and then start his own construction company. George Luz became a handyman in Providence, Rhode Island. As a testament to his character, 1,600 people attended his funeral in 1998. Doc Rowe died in Louisiana in 1998. Frank Bergani returned to Chicago and worked a postal route as a mailman. Joe Liebgott returned to San Francisco and drove his cab. Boone Ranneman was one of the best soldiers I ever had. He went into the earth-moving business in Arkansas. He's still there. Alton Moore returned to Wyoming with a unique souvenir. Hitler's personal photo. He was killed in a car accident in 1958. Floyd Talbert. We all lost touch with him in civilian life until he showed up at a reunion just before his death in 1981. How we lived our lives after the war was as varied as each man. Carwood Lipton became a glass-making executive in charge of factories all over the world. He has a nice life in North Carolina. Harry Welsh, he managed to became an administrator for the Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania school system. Donald Spears stayed in the Army, served in Korea, in 1958 returned to Germany as governor of Spandau Prison. He retired a lieutenant colonel.
Easy company! School circle!
For Easy Company, it was D-Day plus 434.
This morning, President Truman received the unconditional surrender from the Japanese. War's over.
Regardless of points, medals, or wounds, each man in the 101st Airborne was going home. Each of us would be forever connected by our shared experience, and each would have to rejoin the world as best he could. Lewis Nixon had some tough times after the war. He was divorced a couple of times. Then in 1956, he married a woman named Grace, and everything came together for him. He spent the rest of his life with her, traveling the world. My friend Lou died in 1995. I took up his job offer and was a personnel manager at the Nixon Nitration Works until I was called back into service in 1950 to train officers and rangers. I chose not to go to Korea. I'd had enough of war. I stayed around Hershey, Pennsylvania, finally finding a little farm, a little peaceful corner of the world, where I still live today. There is not a day that goes by, and I do not think of the men I served with, who never got to enjoy the world without war.
A very unusual feeling. It's a very unusual happening, and it's a very unusual bonding.
We knew that we could depend on each other. So we were a close-knit group.
Craig was unbelievable. And so anybody that I admire more than Bill Darnier and Joe Toy.
I'm proud to be a part of it.
Oh, God.
Real men, the real heroes, are the fellows that are still buried on the and those that come home.
Seemed like you figured that you thought that you could do just about anything. And after the war was over, and you
Shifty.
well, you lost a lot there.
He's hoping to stay alive, that's all.
He said, from this day to the ending of the world, we in it shall be remembered. We lucky few, we band of brothers. For he who today sheds his blood with me shall be my brother.
Do you remember the letter that Mike Ranney wrote me? You do? Do you remember how I ended it? I cherish the memories of a question my grandson asked me the other day when he said, "Grandpa, were you a heroine or a whore?" Grandpa said no, but I served in a company of girls.
God.
Oh my god. If I gathered all the tears from the start of this show, I would have fucking watered Sahara. What the fuck, people? Look at me crying for happiness at some point.
Thank God. At least at the end we cry for happiness.
God, the amount of tears shed for this show.
Honestly.
Truly.
I mean, I had a feeling since we started this episode 1 that the last one is gonna be the one that we are gonna cry the most.
Yeah.
Because, you know, when you watch horror happening through 9 episodes, and when that horror ends, you just want to cry.
Yeah.
You know? You just want to cry that this man survived. You just want to cry because, like, some of them maybe continued their lives.
Yeah.
I have a feeling from the second we started this episode, and we watched Winters swim in a fucking lake or
Where is
river
that lake?
or something.
Where is that part in Austria? Can someone tell me? Which lake is it? Someone tell me what lake it was. It looked beautiful.
Immediately when we saw him swimming in a lake, and like 2 episodes ago you watched him survive a horror and do his best to guide this man and to help them. God already again wanted to write.
Yes, and like especially when it's like him and Nixon. And I adore them. I adore their friendship. And Nixon is talking about how what do you think about New Jersey? Like, what do you think about going there? And there's some place Nixon something, whatever. I happen to know the owners, something like that. I just like that already part got me emotional because like they are so close. Like I don't even know like were they like did the war bring them together? Like were they friends before they like entered this? Were they just like because I adore their relationship. It's one of my favorite aspects of the show. And it was like continuously throughout the show they were always at each other's sides. And when Winters wanted to be deployed to Korea. He was like, well, he needs me there. He doesn't know his way around. Like, he does, you know? Like, Nixon fucking has been to... I mean, I don't know. Maybe he has. But, like, you know, just, like, those parts, I really... Like, they really became just brothers. Like, all of them. But they're, like, so very close. And I always love their relationships. Like, immediately when the episode opens up with the 2 of them talking about, you know, what after this. You know, just, like, in the general scheme of things. What after?
Just the fact that there is
they're talking about a future. That was already very emotional. And I thought that was gonna make me very emotional because like everyone was asking themselves that question. So like what do I do now? And like we had that with Spears as well, who then we found out decided to stay in the army.
Like that part of the episode was definitely my favorite when we find out what happened to these soldiers, like if they lived or they until when they lived, you know.
How they lived their lives. I mean, a lot of this episode was, you know, the war was over. I mean, technically, you know, they had that guerrilla war, whatever. Like, they were not war, but, like, they knew that Hitler, let's say, told to a part of them to, like, stay and make that the final stand or whatever. And I was, like, thinking I don't necessarily remember that near the end of the war. Any type of like that type of a battle after Hitler died already. So like I thought that we were gonna be okay with that, but also just like my memory could have been shit, or maybe we didn't like learn that part, so like I wouldn't know. But like I didn't really, because like I feel like it's so ridiculous, but I feel like these parts we learned through sentences. Let's say like I never really knew what the American army were doing. You know, we never necessarily followed them through. Like we knew about what was nearest to us first and foremost.
No, yeah, about our involvement in any war,
yeah,
like Balkans or anything, we learned a lot about that. But like when it's about other countries in Europe, I have feeling like the whole Second World War was about 2 pages long. You know, like we found out.
In my mind it was really long, but it was just mostly through what we have, suffered, done, whatever. Like you knew, the Allied forces and everything, and like I just feel like a lot of those battles were in sentences for us.
That's what I mean. Like, no, I mean just like the other countries. Like for I remember we had like we learned about names of our like
like we know every battle basically
here, but like for other countries in Europe. Yeah, I have a feeling for every battle like. The big battle happened in that year, and this
so like there's
these
some,
ones won.
Yeah, like Normandy,
that.
We learned about and everything. But I just feel like Bastogne. Like I have no recollection of that in my mind. Even though like it was important, but like I really have no recollection.
And now it's so important to me.
Yeah, but like that's what I want to say. Like watching this and like how they have given their lives and how hard it was, and like knowing that like in history when you learn about it, if you don't go, let's say if you take the course in like elementary school or high school or whatever, it doesn't go into like too much detail. Like for us it's a line in the history book, and like for them it was 2 years of hell. Like it sounds so ridiculous. Like imagine. Like for me I have one fucking line. Like they say they defended this and that. What was the fucking cost of defending that? Like they don't necessarily tell you. I mean, how we can't like sit here in class. Like you have to learn about things that have happened. They don't necessarily sit there and tell you about all the lives lost. Like they say it in terms of numbers and everything. And like so that's why I like watching documentaries, and I like watching shows and movies. I mean, this was the hardest one. Like I really have not seen that, and I wouldn't really, it's very hard to watch it. But like I like watching it, so that you can, let's say, understand that even, like the human experience in it. And because like when you view it like that, war becomes the worst thing imaginable. You don't view it just as like numbers and like, okay, this territory was defended and they crossed over to this territory. Like these are human lives that we're talking about. Like you say, I don't know, 100 and something died, but like 100 and something fucking lives. I think when you talk about it in those large numbers, you can become you can just view it as statistics. But it was just like real
as
people.
I think they do. They just
like and like you can just,
and you honestly even forget many of the things just probably because of the way you have been taught. Because you can't remember every year or every battle.
I mean, I always liked history. I always went to, I don't know how you call that in English, but like after classes you have, let's say, additional classes if you want them. And I remember I always went to history class because I really liked our teacher. And whenever he was like, let's say, teaching us history, I've always like listened to it. Not like I wasn't like taking notes or something to remember. I just like listened to it as a type of a story that like your grandfather would tell you. And like he would, in those additional classes, like he would talk to us about specifically like people in the war and like some, not fun facts, but like something more personal. But like that was pertaining to our territory. So that's just what I was thinking. Like how little, let's say, I have maybe learned about the 101st Airborne. Never really knew it. I think even like the involvement of Americans in World War II is so foreign to me, because like we always approached it like when the US joined the war efforts, like that's when we got help. There, like that's when things started getting not better, but like there was a lot of help that was needed in Europe at that time. Like I remember that, and like now I have watched this, and like I will never forget these names. Like it's ridiculous. Just like knowing this, and I would really like to know other. Like God knows how many of these people and these stories exist, and like even sadder when you think about it, how many stories of the German army exist that are maybe like never gonna be told as well, because they were on the wrong side of things.
Yeah.
And again, I think, I don't know why I'm jumping like now back and forth, like there is something to be said now. And there was a lot of that in this episode as well, because one of the soldiers, on the American side, like went out to seek another soldier. There was a German soldier, potentially an officer, I don't know, they didn't necessarily know, but he said like he was in one of the concentration camps or whatever, and they asked like, okay, well, which one? And it didn't matter. And those types of things are really hard to watch, because like you don't know anything about that man. You can't say for certain where he was and what he was doing. And like for that soldier, he didn't really care. Like he decided that he was guilty, and like maybe most likely he was in that part of the country. But like you don't necessarily know, and you don't know what people's involvements were. You don't know what they did, and so like it was very hard to watch that.
Yeah. No, I just like I agree. It was hard to watch that, and on some levels it's wrong. But at the same time, I honestly can't even begin to judge, because you never know what war does to you. Seeing all those people in camp, I mean, in the last episode we saw that same guy broke seeing all those people. So I can absolutely see how he would not care.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's easy to understand, but I also think there is like that should not happen.
I agree.
It's like and it's like I don't believe in capital punishment. And it's the same thing there with me. Like if you come here and you ask me, like if someone, let's say, does something, harms a child in whatever way, I mean, I don't care about that man's life from here on out, but I also don't think I'm the one that should be making those types of decisions. I should never be put in that place. I think there is something that needs to be put into place so we don't become barbaric. That's very important to me. Like you can't like ask, well, what if your daughter, son, sister, mother, father, whoever, like becomes harmed? You would want that person dead. Of course I would want it dead. That's what they don't allow parents to make those types of decisions. Like if someone wronged them, like I completely understand. Like I really completely understand. It's something that just cannot be done.
But I do love that they showed us that. I really do love that they showed us.
What really got me emotional and how I really liked that they did that again for the, let's say, German army. I mean, I use the terms of German army specifically. Like Nazi is another word, and like that represents a whole other group of people to me, the worst people alive. But then you have German soldiers, which were most of what you had actually. They had their commander who like spoke to Winters before that, like after asked like if he can give like, let's say, one last speech to his men.
Yeah.
And what I really that was ridiculous. Because like that was type of moment that like I expected, and I expected Winters to be giving that speech. And I think like for the show to hone it in that those people went through the same things that like our guys went through. Like they have stood next to these people in foxholes and like lost people that they cared about. Because like again, most of those people were not Nazis.
Yeah.
Like a lot of those people just like didn't feel like they had a choice and they wanted to, let's say, defend their country. I mean, German soldiers tried to kill Hitler. Like did the bomb not, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it's fire, but like Hitler wasn't in that room. I can't remember exactly how that went, but like it's not like every fucking person in Germany there was Nazis or believed in that. A lot of those people wanted to love Germany, wanted to defend their country and whatnot, and didn't maybe necessarily were scared of leaving the army. Like there's so many nuances there, because like they were just people, and you will never convince me that like one nation pulls out people that are just like evil, and like what people are just people. There are as much evil people in the German army as there were in the American army. It's just circumstances that bring you. People are just people. It's just circumstances of life that bring you to other situations.
Yeah.
And that is the sad reality of war. And that's what like one of the soldiers mentioned in the previous episode about how like he thought that the Germans were the most evil people in the world. He said like that he keeps thinking about it, that like they could have been his friends. And that like they weren't so different from him, like they could have gone
makes
fishing.
Sense, of course.
Yeah, but again, that is such a sad part of war. Like it's not so simple like that it is in some like movies or shows. Like you have the good and you have the evil, and so like you fight it. I mean, of course, in World War II, Germany was very clearly on the wrong side. I mean, they were doing horrible, awful, horrifying things, you know? But, like, a lot of those soldiers were just soldiers. They were not, like, masterminds. They were not the Nazis. And, like, what's so very disheartening to me about this whole thing is that, like, the people who have done the worst, who are, like the most awful, who have done experiments on people who are alive, were then brought into America. Like, you have these soul soldiers who give their life fighting against this evil. And then you have the Operation Paperclip, where they put them on the head of NASA. That tells you all that you need to know about people in power. I mean, that's horrifying. That's horrifying. And those people, to me, are just as evil as the Nazis. And they're just, like, always the people that are there on foot fighting those actual wars, who are the real heroes. Yeah. For people who are awful. For people who just like command fucking armies and send people to their deaths. Like there's no winning in a war. It's just all so very awful. But we just followed great people. We really, I mean, flawed people as well, but like,
of course,
people we have followed were really just incredible. Like when Winters at the end said, what a fucking quote, but like that his grandson like asked him, were you here in the war? And he said no, but I fought along heroes. Yes. And I was like, what do you mean fucking no? I mean, that's Winters. Winters is incredibly humble. Like each and every single one of them, like in their own right, were heroes. Like I don't know how you do that, really. I don't know how you enter that, how you get out of that.
But I did love that we had shown in that scene. He killed the guy. He wasn't sure if who he was or what he exactly did.
What was his part?
I also love that we had Weber there. I think it's Weber who didn't want to be involved with that.
Yeah, and I found it interesting because like he was also the same one that was like, wasn't he the one that was yelling at the German soldiers who like surrendered?
Yes.
He was like, you scum or whatever and everything, and like now he is there and it doesn't feel right to him, and he says like he is probably guilty. Like he probably is guilty, but like,
he is exactly what you said.
What are we doing now?
Exactly, that he was exactly there. Yeah. He said like I think he meant like we're not the one who should decide and who should kill him.
Yeah.
And after that, we also had a scene where we saw, I think that's a guy on our side.
Yeah, I mean, I don't recognize him. Yeah, but like he's one of the soldiers and he killed one of the
Germans.
Yeah. I don't know if there was a soldier I couldn't see.
Yeah, and he killed them because of nothing, you know.
I mean, he was very clearly drunk.
And he was out of his mind.
Yeah.
Let's call it like that, you know.
Yeah. And like you don't even know like, is he out of his mind? Probably. I mean, he was in a war, you know, so like you lose your fucking mind, and now he comes.
That's what I think. I think
potentially innocent person. Doesn't matter who he killed. He killed someone. Even if he was guilty, he killed someone.
Yeah.
When
I mean, after that, he killed. Not guilty. I mean, tried to kill. I mean, shot at our soldier. I mean,
I don't know his name.
Yeah, me neither.
I forgot his name, but he shot him in the head. I thought he shot him immediately. I didn't think he was.
He shot him in the head, but I think it probably
grazed mostly. I mean, it didn't graze. It hit him. He needed a brain surgeon, but like I thought he basically like. I thought that was it.
He's gonna die immediately, and I am so happy. I was so happy to find out that he wasn't.
Yeah, me too.
He didn't die, but like our soldiers found him, took him and beat him. Like I had feeling every single one of them threw many punches because he was all bloody before that, you know. And then Spears got into the room.
Yeah, like with a gun.
With a gun, and I truly believe that at that moment he maybe even thought he was gonna kill him.
Yeah.
And I at the end he decided not
because
to.
Like imagine like you have gone through the war, you're on the other side, and suddenly one of your own shoots you. And like at the same time, I can just like even imagine the fucking rage to feel.
Yeah.
And like it takes a lot to be able to, I think, if you're like from the outside looking in, of course you can be more like
That's
calm, but like
yeah.
you know, it will take a lot if you're a part of, you know, them, to what sit here and be like, well, this one went through war, I mean, he should, you know, he shot an innocent person here, he should pay for it, you know, jail. But
jail.
like, yeah, but it takes a lot, I think, in that, even in those circumstances where you have seen so much death that you're, let's say, desensitized to it, that your brain doesn't like go to, oh, a jail. Like you have been killing people, and people have been killing you for like 2 years.
And I think you know it's wrong.
Yeah, but like that's why these topics get like very complicated, because I feel, you know, it's not okay.
It's not okay.
It's not okay
it's
to
wrong.
put it upon
it's
you.
Very
sure,
wrong.
yeah.
But I don't know what war can make you do.
Yeah.
And when you survive something like that,
yeah,
like I can say it is war,
like,
but like to me it is understandable how someone would get to the position to not be able to not shoot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Even though it is, that goes without a doubt.
Yeah.
It is fucking horrible.
I mean, again, after seeing everything you've seen, after seeing just those camps,
yeah,
you know, like it's hard. Like, again, we sit from here, you know, where we can make some opinions with a leveled head.
Yeah.
You know, and like
we have survived nothing of that.
And like after going through everything they have gone through, like it maybe is asking a lot of them.
Yeah.
Like it's asking for a lot from them to just sit here and be like, well, yes, but this and this, like think about things maybe rationally and not do some things, you know. I think it's very difficult, but I like that they also showed that part as well, like after the war.
Yeah, me
like
too.
This guy maybe even kept his cool until, and then now when it's over,
maybe.
Like I thought, like when it's over, you sort of have time to break down.
Yeah.
You know, like God knows what that guy went through. Maybe he was the best person ever.
Yeah.
You know, and then suddenly he broke down. Like you don't know the circumstances of anything, really. So like that was just like really sad, but I really like that they wanted to show that.
Me too.
They found it very important to show that, and again to show the speech given by the German soldier who could have that would have been the exact same thing that Winters would have said to his soldiers. So I just really appreciate the way that they wanted to show all this, like with its, like with all of its flaws, with all of everything, you know, and to end it off with. I just love that so much because we have been following these people for so long.
Me too. But I expected it.
Yeah, me too.
Because we had veterans
and like they did for everyone.
Yeah.
And what I loved about that is, you know, first they tell us, but like they also give you, because they have gone through the worst things imaginable. And like we were talking about how do you continue living?
Yeah.
And then they showed you how they continue living. You know, I'm sure that everyone struggled in their own way and found some other ways that like help them work for them.
For example, we had a guy who I think it's Weber, maybe. He became a writer and he wrote about sharks, or is it sharks or something?
Well, yes, and he went to the ocean. He was never seen again.
And you can imagine why and how that happened, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you never know for certain. Like, you never know what's happening in someone's head as well. But
exactly.
I just like for every single one, like this one continued driving his cab, and this one opened up a construction something.
And this one got married to Kitty,
I think. Oh my God, we have heard that name. I hope it's Kitty, because like we have heard that name since the dawn of fucking time.
Yeah,
like honestly, there's some names that I don't remember, but like I remember Kitty. Her, and he married her, and I'm so happy for him.
Through this episode, he constantly mentioned through this show. He constantly mentioned her.
Yes.
And I
was
and in this episode they put the scene when they tell him maybe she's already married, she run away with this and that, and thank God we found it.
That's like so beautiful, because like you can imagine that throughout the war, like she was the one that he was holding on to.
Yeah.
And like for someone to be able to like come out of this, and like everyone should get what they deserve, and they really deserve a lot. And so like it made me really happy that he got out and that he was able to marry her, you know, finally. And like it just made me really happy that all of them in their way like had some type of future. Some was shorter lived, unfortunately, than someone else's, but like just like to show you that you can, even surviving the worst,
Yeah.
like there's still that light at the end of the tunnel. Like you can find a way. Again, you're forever changed. Like you will never be the same person that you were, but like you can still live a fulfilling life, like full of love.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know, just maybe differently than some people
Yeah.
who didn't need to experience. But like that goes with any type of like trauma
Yeah,
that
of course.
anyone experiences.
Of
Like there are a lot of
course.
things that people just deal with.
Yeah, of course.
I loved hearing that Nixon, like that he struggled, because I was worrying a bit about him and like with alcohol and everything, like that he struggled after the war, but then in the 50s.
I mean, his wife already
left him. And like he got
during
divorced
the
a couple
war,
of times,
yeah.
I think they said, like maybe not
a
the
couple
wife.
of times after that, yeah.
Yes.
And
And
at the
then
end,
he-
he found his love.
Yes, and they
That was
traveled
very
the
cute.
world.
Oh.
Like I cannot imagine
That's all I can.
a better life.
Yeah.
Just like traveling the world, seeing what it has to offer.
Yeah, and of course, our Winters,
Who worked in the Nixons until they called them up in the 50s.
I was
think.
so happy to find out he didn't go.
Yes, I was
I
so
was-
happy.
I was-
Because
I
he
was
was like,
like-
I've seen enough of war. And like he has, because like we know in episode 5, I think, maybe episode 5, but like he was talking about how after this he just wants to live somewhere quiet on a
And
farm.
he did that.
And so like when he said that, that was it. That was fucking, what a fucking man. Like all of them. But like Winters is always like, what a, like I cannot
Yeah,
believe him,
yeah.
because like he also made it a point. Everyone needed points. I never knew this.
Yeah, that's
like, everyone
why-
needed
that's
points
why
to
it's called
be
points.
able to
After
go
the
home.
war,
And like
you
it
have
sounds so
points.
ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
imagine, like
That
they've gone through
sounds-
so
yeah.
much. I mean, I knew they were not gonna go anywhere because like the Japanese are
Yeah.
like that was done in
Yeah,
45.
yeah.
But like just like the notion of them thinking that they have to go somewhere
Yeah.
again.
or that they can't leave home, go home.
And Winters, again, as he always does, he just like took care of his men. Like that was
Yeah.
always, and he was finding ways to make them go anywhere else. You know, he's telling him, well, they need someone to show them about the planes, you know, so like just like go there.
Go to Paris, go
yes,
here,
go
go
here, go anywhere.
And
when it's not
Lip told him, "Are all my jobs for now on gonna be like
Yeah.
this?" But like he
Yeah.
said it with a smile, and oh my god,
like that was so beautiful to me. And what was even also beautiful to me is at the end they were playing baseball. The most fucking American sport. I've never seen anywhere else play baseball. Like I'm sure they do. They were playing baseball, and like immediately we see, God, what is his name? The one with like whiter hair, blonde hair. That was shot in the ass, like. Because like when I remember Malarkey reading him the letter from home.
yeah.
And the letter from home said like, I'm sure you're teaching them like something about baseball or
Oh,
whatever. So like
yeah.
when I saw him playing, and like we know how hard it was for him.
Yeah.
And now he's there
To
playing
move
baseball.
forward.
Yeah, and like I just like that
Me too.
really warmed me. Like those little details that really
Yeah.
just like warmed my fucking heart. To just like see how they all lived life after this. And then to like see finally the people that we have been listening to and like who they were, they really
they
made me
were,
fucking
yeah.
emotional. Like
To
I
connect
don't know,
name
yeah.
with the face.
Yeah. Just like
Yeah.
to see those people who have actually gone
No,
through
the
those
end
things.
broke me, honestly.
Just like to see them all talk about, you know, each other. And I'm definitely gonna watch that documentary afterwards because I think it's gonna be definitely about
Yeah,
like
I
them
like-
maybe.
yeah,
I
definitely.
really wanna listen to
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I mean, I think it's gonna be easy.
Yeah, it's gonna be much easier. Like
Yeah.
I love documentaries, and so like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
fine with documentaries,
Yeah.
you know.
Maybe this one's gonna be harder for you when
Yeah,
you
I
watch
think it
them
might.
and
I think it
remember
might because like I
what
feel
you-
emotionally
yeah.
connected a lot to
because
them.
you know what they survived. I mean, no, you don't.
Yeah.
But like you watched it.
I'm very happy that this was the last episode.
No, honestly,
I thought it was beautiful. It leaves me with, how do I say it? Like, I'm
I don't know how
glad
to-
that I can think about it, and I don't like, because after the last episode, it was like fucking horror. Like it was very hard. Like, but just now, like the full story, it is just so well done.
It is worth it, in my opinion.
It is very worth it.
It is very worth it.
All the tears were worth it.
Yeah, like the ending was beautiful. I think it tied everything together. I think it was just perfect. And
I think they really did it with a lot of respect.
Yeah, and
for everyone.
that's why I think it was worth it. Like it is important to see everything that you see. It is important to know what those men went through. So at the end, I like, it's not like I'm sitting here now and thinking, oh my god, why I did watch this show.
No.
I'm so happy that I watched it.
Yeah. And like, again, it lives up to its.
I mean,
it
it's-
lives up to its.
It is
its
literally without a fault. It's much
No.
better than I thought it was gonna be. Like
Yeah.
much better.
Yeah, it's really it. you understand why it's so highly viewed, and it should be.
Yeah.
It really should be.
Yeah.
And I am happy that
so I'm happy
we disregarded the polls.
Yeah.
We
decided by ourselves.
We put this in so many polls, it always lost, and the two of us were like, well,
it was always the last one on everything.
No one fucking wanted it.
Except for us.
And the two of us decided that. So we can't, like, all the tears that we cried, we couldn't even blame you.
Yeah, we blamed ourselves.
We're the ones who put ourselves in this position. And I'm happy that we did. I am happy that we did. It was tough, but it was also very worth it.
Yeah.
Thank you also for watching.
Thank you so much for watching.
We will not see you with this.
For us.
We will see you with something else.
Maybe.
Do we say what it is?
Nothing connected with the war.
Nothing.
Maybe some games.
Maybe something post-apocalyptic. And with someone named Pedro. Pascal.
Take it as you will.
Perfect timing. Our food is here. Thank you so much for watching.